Now, Chapter 3, man, I hate to use the U word. It's not my thing. It's not my style, especially when it comes to uber popular indie games like this, but I do think it's kind of underrated as far as this game goes. It's not to say people dislike it or anything like that. Not really. In fact, I've seen a lot of praise specifically towards Tenna. People have had just a ton of fun with all the obvious fan animations and whatnot they could do here.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Right.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh?
But some fans didn't care much for the soundtrack, they were disappointed by the secret boss, they wished Toriel played a larger part in the story, they were upset all their fan theories about the different things in Chris's house coming to life didn't come true, and I think it was ultimately a little overlooked due to just how incredible Chapter 4 was, and I'll be honest, I disagree with literally all of that. Well, except for Chapter 4 being better, but that's not really the point. Before release, the creative force behind this game had said Chapter 3 was a lot lighter in terms of story, which I kind of don't think is the case. I mean, in terms of plot and lore, like, yeah, sure, I guess. But in the same way Chapter 1 was truly Susie's chapter and Chapter 2 was Noelle's, Chapter 3 is where Chris really gets to take the center stage for himself after all this build-up and really gets to shine, and it's amazing. Maybe it's the Amori fan in me, but I absolutely love psychological exploration in games, and even after everything the first 2 chapters set up, this is where you get to see more of who Chris really is than ever before. And it makes sense as to why. I mean, the antagonist here is Tenna, Chris's literal TV, who sort of feels responsible for raising Chris, for providing them with a lot of their best childhood memories, who shares a lot of the same traumas Chris does, primarily their whole, family and social circle falling apart thing. Chris's parents' divorce was so bad it effectively gave their television separation anxiety, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Queen is incredible, and King was great too, but I honestly think Tenna is my favorite chapter and tag so far. Maybe that's just recency bias, I don't know, but his fear of abandonment, his fear of technology better than him, his fear of getting old and stale, his fear of never getting to entertain people again, and seeing his world completely fall around him because of that, I love that stuff, and I weirdly find it really relatable. Though I will say, I think this says a lot more about me than it does Tenna, for sure. But I think it deepens this game's theme so well by adding some contrasting perspectives to it. Like Rousey tells Tenna, yeah, well, darkness' purpose is to make Lightners happy for a little while before they're discarded and forgotten, before Susie suggests, nah, there's more to Darkners, more to art than just being enjoyed temporarily than being thrown away, and it's a great showcase of this game's whole meta-narrative and this idea of the purpose of Darkners, the purpose of entertainment and escapism as a whole. And I really think all the new characters are great too, like especially these 2 Jokers that single-handedly prove, like with any of life's problems, divorce is always the answer. And like I said, Deltarune consistently wears its influences on its sleeves, referencing, say, Punch-Out! And Smash Brothers and Mario World and so many other games at different points, but Chapter 3 with its game show nature takes that even further with homages to Link's Awakening and WarioWare and Brandish and so on and so on. And not only does that perfectly encapsulate the themes of entertainment at play here, but it shows how all these old games, these old works of art, these old stories pave the way for the new, can be retooled into being something innovative and timeless. I really love the secret boss quest here too. Like I'll admit, when I first laid eyes on Ram in the S-rank room, I let out a huge groan. I saw his creepy design, I heard that familiar Spamton motif, he was talking about freedom and big shots. I was honestly a little worried he was just gonna be Diet Spamton at first, but no, this whole angle is amazing. It's a great peek into the inner workings of Chris's mind as it perfectly shows their hunger for freedom that contrasts with the fact that they seemingly like and hate liking the fact that they can wash their hands of any of the horrible things we make them do while still getting to reap the benefits of those things. And this boss, Iram, whoever it is, perfectly reflects that. But if you want to be like really technical, Iram, or whatever he's actually called, isn't the secret boss because, well, you don't get a shadow crystal for beating them. No, they're just the key for unlocking the long-awaited Shadow Mantle, which gives the average player the endurance to survive against this chapter's final boss you're almost destined to lose to. The fucking Knight? The Roaring Knight, this shadowy figure that's been set up since day one as the real force driving everything, pulling the strings of all the foes you faced. Though maybe not literally. Finally, face to face with us. I mean, structurally speaking, the halfway point was the perfect time for the Knight to finally show its face, which, by this point, it's painfully obvious the Knight is Death. I don't think I even have to say that, but I don't think it's really supposed to be a surprise either, though I do think it'd be really funny if you got a huge bait and switch and it turned out to be just, Asriel or something. Now, would that be less compelling? With what we know now, probably, yeah, but again, consider this, it'd be fucking funny. The knight's reveal and subsequent boss fight, and honestly that whole ending of Chapter 3 is absolutely incredible. In my point of view, it's easily the best chapter ending yet, which again, is saying a lot. And being among the first to witness it was honestly really incredible. That is my story, and god damn it, I'm sticking to it.
See, I work a stinking dead-end retail job, and specifically night shift. And let me let you in on a little secret. I fucking hate night shift. So to reclaim time a little bit for myself, I usually sleep about 3 to 5 hours a day during the day, so that way I can have time after I get home from work to procrastinate working on my game. Do I like it? No, but it's effective-ish. But do you really think I slept the day this came out? The very thing I've been waiting for the past 7 years? No. The very second I was able to, June 4th at 10 a.m. sharp, I was all over this thing, but I just had to work a few hours later, so that meant basically getting no sleep. But I also had to speed through Chapter 3 just extremely fast. And I was okay with that, letting the more nitty-gritty stuff marinate for a future playthrough. I thought it sounded fun. But as soon as I finished Chapter 3, I did the inevitable, going on Twitter to see what people were saying about it, and to my surprise, nobody, I mean fucking nobody, was talking about the night. Not for another at least 20-30 minutes or so, which I just think is really funny.
No, obviously, I'm not saying I'm the first player to beat Chapter 3. Like, of course not. The statistics of that are so exponentially low, I don't think they're even worth acknowledging. But they're not exactly zero now, are they? Also, last weird note, one of the things I've seen even the most dedicated Deltarune diehards say is that they were really upset, or at least disappointed, that Chapter 3 didn't have an original ending theme, it just used the Chapter 2 credits. I don't know, for me, I was watching that scene play out in real time, and the first thing I thought, before it faded to black, was, man, I kinda hope they use the Chapter 2 credits theme, because I feel like it would fit perfectly. And it does. And it makes sense too, it happens on the same day, but I don't know, there's just something about that song that instills so much curiosity, mystery, intrigue. It just works perfectly, and I don't think there needed to be another new credits theme here. But regardless, I just mean getting to experience this in real time was borderline magical. That's why I'm so curious how the legacy of Deltarune will hold up for future generations, for people who won't have to wait so long to play through each chapter, those fucking lucky bastards.